Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Now I'm sure you've heard of the old pre-decimal denominations like the half crown, the shilling, the farthing and all the old denominations we all know and love. But do you know the first year each one was introduced? Well, in today's video we're going to go through every single denomination of pre-decimal times in Britain and list the first year that they were issued for circulation. And we'll line them all up together in a line from the oldest, also the one that was first released, the oldest denomination, right up to the newest, and there's sort of a bit of a timeline. And we can see the oldest to the newest and when each one was introduced. So let's have a look at the denominations first and then see when they were first introduced. So of course you have the classics. This is just, there are a few others, but this is just the classics. We have there the farthing, we have the halfpenny, we have the penny, we then have the threepence, the fourpence or groat, we then have the sixpence, we then have the shilling, we then have the florin, or 2 shillings, the half crown, the full crown, and then for gold, we have the half sovereign there. And apologies, I don't have really a loose one, but we do have the sovereign, the full sovereign as well. So here are the denominations. But when were they all first introduced, or when did they arise for use as circulating coins in England? Well, beginning with the sovereign here, the sovereign was first issued in the current form as we know it in 1817. As you can see there on screen, the first one was issued in the reign of George III, the first modern sovereign of 1817, during the Recoinage Act after the Napoleonic Wars. However, this new sovereign was based on a much older sovereign. The first gold sovereign was actually issued in 1489. And we're going to, by the way, quickly, I forgot to say, we're going to reorganize these coins, not in denomination order, but in order of how long they've been being made in various, there's obviously these are just one look at one type of coin, but they've been minted and hammered, in early milled and milled, all types of coins and styles. We're going to reorganize them in just by their pure denomination from the oldest or first ever minted and issued to the newest. Back to the gold sovereign though, so that one was being entered, that's going to be entered at 1489. So the reordering will happen at the top here. Let's bring these down. So 1489 is so far the oldest, so we'll move that back there, so far the oldest. Coming back to the half sovereign, this was also first issued in this more small form in 1817 as part of the Great Recoinage, to set to the same standard size as the one here is. This is from Victoria's reign, as we can see. However, there were half sovereigns issued before. Although hammered sovereigns were first issued in 1489, the first hammered counterpart half sovereign was not issued until the reign of King Henry VIII in the year of 1544. So the half sovereign is an altogether newer denomination than the sovereign. So we'll zoom out and pop it there. So we've got 1489, 1544. Now then, coming back onto the silver, moving on to our silver denominations here, we have next up the crown. As you can see here, this is a nice Victoria, George and the Dragon crown. And this is a milled crown, as we can see here. There were early milled crowns made all through the reigns of Charles II, William III, and such monarchs in that era. And there were also hammered crowns, as we can see now. But when was the first ever crown issued as a denomination for Britain? Well, the introduction of the crown happens again in the reign of Henry VIII, similar to that half sovereign. But it's a bit earlier, as the first ever crown was issued in 1526. So a bit earlier in the reign of King Henry VIII. So move this one along now, at 1544, 1526, and then 1489. So then continuing on now to the half crown, worth of course half of the full crown. So 2.5 shillings, that's 5 shillings. This is 10 shillings and 20 shillings. So a half crown, when was this first issued for circulation? Well, again, we have there the more modern one. This is a silver 50% milled one. But we have early milled coins, as we can see there. And of course, we have hammered half crowns as well. But when was the first one issued for circulation? Well, the half crown was not introduced until the reign of a later monarch, to the son of Henry VIII, King Edward VI, the boy king. And that was in 1549. So the 1500s and the late 1400s so far are when these are all issued. This is the earliest one, so the newest denomination so far. So the half crown here is 1549. We've got 1544, 1526, and 1489. Sorry, so there we go. There's the order so far. Now comment down below how much of this you knew, and can you guess the oldest denomination? Well, let's find out. Continuing on now with the florin. And this is a hard one to say because there are sort of two answers to this. Now, the first florin, in the way we know it today, as 1/10 of a pound sterling, was actually first issued in 1849. So a pretty new coin, all things, considered with the 15 and 1400s there. 1849, and the Gothic florin being introduced. However, because there were no early milled florins and there were no hammered florins in the same way, because there was the denomination around in England of a florin, but it was a little bit different to how it is as a florin in this more modern time. Now, going back to the reign of King Edward III in 1344, so it would be the oldest, we can see in 1344 Edward III produces a florin coin, but it is more commonly known as the double leopard coin. Now that's fine, a different term for it is fine. However, the double leopard coin, or the florin coin of King Edward III, was in fact a coin worth 6 shillings, so is therefore not the standard, the usual 2 shillings of a florin we have today. So a 6 shilling florin, I am going to say, does not count. A florin is a 2 shilling coin, I will say, and if you disagree with this, then please do comment down below. But for me, the 2 shilling or florin coin was first issued in 1849 rather than 1344, as that was a 6 shilling florin and doesn't count. So it's right there to the end of the list. Now then, on to the shilling coin. When was the first shilling introduced and circulated? Well, for the shilling coin, we return to the reign of King Henry VII, the issuer of the gold sovereign. Aha, so this is the one that's winning so far. So it's in the same monarch's reign as the gold sovereign. Was it issued first? It was not. It was first issued in 1504, known interchangeably as the shilling or the testoon, but the testoon way of calling it sort of died off quite soon, and it became only singularly referred to as a shilling, and then later has nicknames such as the bob and things like that. So the bob or the shilling was first issued in 1504, so beat 1526 for the crown, but not beat the sovereign. So we'll move that there, and we'll add it in to our list at 1504, just there. Now then, onto the sixpence. We can see here, when was the first sixpence issued? Again, we have, as we can see on screen there, early milled and hammered sixpences, but when was the first one made? For the first sixpence, we return once again to the reign of the boy king, King Edward VI, as the first ever sixpence was struck in 1551. So quite a, not quite as old as some of these ones, 1551 for this coin. So just after the half crown of 1549, but of course way before this. So we're going to slot it in right here. There we are. So 1549, 1551, and then back for the older ones. So let's zoom out again. We've got a few coins left, as we can see here. Now next up is a very old denomination, a little bit of a teaser there, as this is the fourpence or groat, and has existed for many, many, many centuries in one way or another. For the first ever groat or fourpence to be made, we have to go back right the way to the reign of King Edward I. Now the exact date is not known, it's just in his reign, but as a rule going forward, if it's a coin we don't know the exact date for, and it's just in the reign, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt and give it the first year of the reign, which would of course be for Edward I, say it with me, 1272. That is right, so the first groat was issued in 1272, almost 800 years ago, and so therefore we have a new winner. Did you see that coming? Beating the gold sovereign in terms of age. We'll put it right there. In fact, we'll move these along a bit actually. There we go, so a new winner, the groat, 1272. But can it be beaten by any of the 4 remaining denominations? Well, let's see when the threepence was first issued. Issued the same year as the sixpence. Can you remember that year? Have you learnt anything? Well, that was, of course, as we know, 1551. So that year, 1551, in the reign of Edward VI, the boy king, saw the introduction of both the sixpence and the threepence. So we'll put them together there on our list. Right then, we now move on to they're copper here, but of course have existed in many, many forms over the years. Especially the penny, which as we know was minted, of course, here we can see it in bronze, was also minted in copper, and minted in silver, and minted in hammered. So a very long history. In fact, the penny coin is again one that isn't quite easy to do, but I think because look, the penny outdates the royal mint. That's how old the penny is. So a bit of a spoiler alert here. This is going right to the left-hand side, because the penny as a denomination in England outdates the royal mint, being first minted under the reign of King Offa, who did not reign over all of England, just a part of it before it was unified, and then the royal mint was made. But I think we can count that as because, even if we counted it as the first day of the royal mint, which is 886, would be way, winning. But actually, it was 785 AD when the first ever penny was struck for use in England. So 785 AD, we can see there an extraordinarily old coin and a denomination still being made today. So the penny coins in your pocket today, although they're not very good coins, they do have a history spanning back to 785 AD in the reign of King Offa. So an amazing history, and rightly claiming the place there in first for now as the earliest minted coin of these sort of standard denominations we know and love today. Now then, 2 more to go. We have here the halfpenny. When was the first halfpenny made? What do we think? The first halfpenny was introduced in the reign of King Henry I, who reigned between 1100 and 1135. So again, with our rule there, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say it was minted the first year of his reign. So the first halfpenny was minted in the year 1100. So that is our second place coin. So let's just zoom out so you can see, putting it there in second place on the list. Right then, 1 coin left, just the little humble farthing here. And when was the first farthing made? And do you think it can be the oldest coin? For the first farthing, we go back to the reign once again of King Edward I. And we can see on the screen there an Edward I penny. Now to get this farthing, you'd have had to cut in half a penny to get a halfpenny, then cut that in half to get a farthing. So it would actually physically be a quarter of a penny for the farthing denomination. So that is a 1272 introduction, and we can see, zooming out, that is the same year as the groat. So for a quick overview then, now I'm going to do this from memory, so let's see if I've learnt something today and can remember the dates of all these coins, their first issue. So we have the florin, the latest one, issued first in 1849. We then have the threepence and sixpence, issued in 1551. We then have the half crown, first issued in 1549. We then have the half sovereign, first issued, memory, is it 1554? It'll be on screen if not. 1544. We then have the crown, first issued in 1526. And then the shilling, first issued in 1504. We have the first gold sovereign, first issued in 1489. We then have the farthing and the groat, or fourpence, both first issued in the reign of Edward I, so back to 1272. We then have the halfpenny, first introduced in the reign of Henry I in the year 1100, and the winner for the oldest denomination is the penny, first issued in 785 AD for use in England. So a coin with, immense history, well over, almost 1,200, or maybe 1,250 years old. It'll be on screen there, the age of the penny as of this year. So whenever you next go into a shop and buy something, you maybe get a penny in your change, just think, although that's not the best coin, just think of the history that penny will have. Amazing stuff. So there we go. A great overview of coins. And of course, comment down below your favourite denomination and the one that you're most happy to be introduced in the year that it was. So there we go. And did you know it was the penny that was the oldest denomination? And of course, one that is still in use today. So please comment down below if you knew this. And of course, as well, comment down below your favourite denomination. So there we go. Please do leave a like I say. Leave a comment down below as well. And of course, as well, subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bits and Bobs. Bye for now.